Oh, good to see you again, Malcolm. Oh, everyone, this is Joe from ActionX. Welcome back to What's on the Tube. I'm gonna be completely honest with you all. I am very stressed. I'm very exhausted, but I love the rookies so much that I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop doing the reviews, even though we still have 2 episodes left for this season, or technically after this one, only one. But regardless, let's just get through it. This is what's on the tube. Where each and every other day, try weekly, try daily. I don't know. I still don't know the terminology for that. I review. I do episode reviews for certain shows. I'm doing this for the Rookie season 2, and it's been a week off. I missed the Rookies so much, and these 2 weeks felt like forever ago. Like the last Rookie episode, and a lot has happened since then in terms of like, and also it's just been it's been very difficult for me to like personally, but again, this is not the show for that. Anywho, let's just get down to it. It's been a while. I initially thought this was the mid-season finale, and then I checked online, and no, next week's episode is the mid-season finale. So they're doing 10 episodes in now, and then 10 episodes in the spring, because it's got picked up for 20. I'm not sure, with that being said, if it's going to last for the full season, because 10 episodes doesn't really, and I really hope ABC does not do the whole, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. route, which I don't think they did, but I don't remember how they did with season 1 on how they're going to spread out the last 10 episodes, since they're putting so much emphasis in the first half. That doesn't leave a lot of room for the second half, since there's more months out of the second half, because there's 5 months to fill, and the fall usually it's only 2.5, so we'll see how that goes. But anywho, let's get down to it. Let's get down to this episode. Honestly, I had forgotten the promo, because again, it's been like 2 weeks since the last episode, so I had completely forgot what the hell this episode was even about. But in true Rookie fashion, the promo really doesn't properly reflect on the episode itself. It really doesn't. So I was able to like, okay, this is where we were at in the story. Very interesting directions, I'll say the least. But it was just a couple of them were like, they were fun and entertaining. Some of them, like, I think for the first time, I'm a little bit iffy on one of the rookies' creative decisions. I mean, it could benefit in the long run, but for me currently right now, it's not something that I'm a big fan of, or at least not yet. But we'll get to that. Let's get down to the usual shenanigans. Nolan is back after spending an entire week with Alan Tudyk. He's back to house renovations, even especially after his breakup with Jessica, and he gets a visitor who apparently turns out to be the previous homeowner of the house before it was foreclosed. And so it's been 5 years, so obviously Nolan only dealt with the bank, but because the thing is that this owner is looking for his family, his wife's family, who apparently was estranged from him after they had left the house previously. Nolan, being the good guy that he is, decides to take it upon himself to at least try to even find these people, which honestly, is that the right thing to do to a total stranger? I don't know, but this is John Nolan we're talking about, the nicest guy in the world. But that doesn't really, it's not really a main thing. It kind of gets resolved pretty quickly. This actually felt like a pretty fast episode. Like, I honestly thought there was going to be more substance to this. This honestly could have worked as a two-parter, but it would have probably dragged on if it was a two-parter, but that's just in my opinion. But from there, we don't get the usual meeting of the morning meeting. We don't get that in this episode. I don't think we did. To be completely honest, I watched this episode over an hour ago, and I completely forgot majority of the beginning. Says a lot about me. Anywho, back to it. We get to, I believe, Jesus Christ, I'm really going out of order here. No. So Nolan is asking Harper his thoughts on this. Harper's off in her own land. Obviously, Harper's just a self-entitled person, because, well, not self-entitled, but like, she's mostly thinking of herself right now. She hasn't really gotten to the stage where she's starting to care about the other characters yet. She's mostly focused on her daughter, and she's going to get her first overnight visit for her. And she's kind of scared because like she hasn't had an overnight like tenured with her daughter in years, so obviously she's scared shitless. But Nolan calms her down. But before they are able to continue their run, God, I forgot his name. God, it's been 2 weeks. I forgot. Sergeant Gray. He comes to them and tells them, "Hey, listen, there is an assault at an apartment nearby, and there was a picture from the crime scene that showed Harper during her undercover days. Turns out there's a connection there, so she's being called in to kind of assist in the matter. So they're off doing that. So let's get through the side stuff out of the way. I don't like to call it side stuff, but again, this is the Nolan show. I feel so off-centered, and my face feels a little bit more bigger. I'm not sure if that's the camera angle maybe it is just me. Thanksgiving, eating after Thanksgiving does not do well on your bodily connection. I do need to go back to the gym. Anywho, back to the actual episode and not about my life. We actually got a pretty interesting subplot here where I honestly felt like West and Diaz actually got the weirdest end of the stick, because like we're finally delving into, obviously, ironically, this is a cop show that has a plot in the episode that dedicates around them going to a cop show set. So that's very interesting. Also, another one of those cases where I just watch too much TV, or I just recognize a lot of TV actors. The male actor, I don't remember his name. Again, these are side characters. Like, they're just for the episode. I don't remember their names, to be completely honest with you. But the male actor in this subplot, I never watched the show personally, but like, I know this actor from somewhere. He looks so familiar, but I never seen him anywhere before. And then I realized he was on the Hallmark Channel show When Calls the Heart, which I never watched. I heard good things about it up until the Lauren case, but that's probably an episode for next year. Yeah, so I recognize him. I'm like, oh damn, I can't talk crap anymore about Hallmark Channel movies because he's on the show. But no, he requests Wes and Diaz's help to kind of like teach them, like make them better on set of actually how police officers do things on set, or not on set, on actual patrol. And they both agree, but you know, Diaz, no, not Diaz. I'm thinking of Arrow for some reason. I think it's Diaz. I'm not sure. If I'm getting the name wrong, already 9 episodes into this run, I apologize. I am just tired and so exhausted, so mentally exhausted. But again, another thing for another day. Anywho, so Wes is off having so much fun teaching this actor how to be a cop. Meanwhile, the female co-star is obviously attracted to Diaz because like they're both females. I guess there's more of a commodity between them, more of a trust, so to speak, and she's telling him like, okay, like a lot of celebrities, they get a stalker, but this one's kind of more a bit creepy since she kind of felt like her house got broken in before, but no one took anything, so she didn't call the police. So it's a very weird time for this actress, and Diaz opts to help her out. And it's weird because she's kind of swapped between two separate storylines, because we get the return of Iceman, Bobby's actor, and I completely forgot his name again because they took him off the board. Like, I remember the last episode he was in, like, I finally know his name. It's been 3-4 weeks, almost a month since that episode. I forgot his name. I feel so bad. But anyway, so he's back. Thankfully, he's still alive, but he's got some PTSD going on. He's got some of that going on, but he's trying to take it easy. Obviously, you know, he had a near-death experience, so his heart probably isn't up to terms with, isn't ready to handle big cases yet. So he's kind of easing it in. But of course, obviously, Diaz being the loving girlfriend she is obviously concerned for him that he might be doing too much and maybe even taking some pretty intense cases. But let's finish up the movie actor storyline. So everything goes well. They kind of go out for it, but apparently the female actress at the end of the shoot day discovers her trailer's been broken in, and there were some pretty intimate pictures. Not really intimate pictures, but like pictures of her in bed, sleeping, that obviously she would not be able to take if this wasn't an issue. So obviously it's scary. And this is a weird cut where like they just kind of brush it off for a little bit. We don't really get to see the direct conclusion to that, because when we cut back to the to that plot, because we're all over the place with this episode. Wes and the actor apparently is getting it on. So from what I'm thinking, Wes and that doctor guy from season 1, no, the nurse guy, the nurse, yeah, the other male nurse from season 1, I guess that didn't like really pan out because Wes was immediately like ready to have an all-intensive make-out session with this guy, but they were interrupted because the stalker showed in, because apparently he's under the belief that actors and actresses, when they're playing characters that are in love with each other on the show, that they would fall in love outside. This isn't Riverdale. This isn't gonna happen. But anywho, Wes gets shot. Thankfully, Diaz figures it out in time and tases the dude, and thankfully Wes is all right. He has the bulletproof vest, so he's fine. So that kind of wraps up that storyline there. Back to Chen and Bradford. I haven't mentioned them in a while. Jesus Christ. They got a little bit more chill. Not really chill. They went like a whole 180 with that plot line, because there was this lady that found his song that was covered in blood, so this could be for like something bad has happened. So they were trying to return the dog back to the house, but they find a woman dead, and they find the long hair doesn't. The long hair kind of threw me off, but I guess boys have long hair. I can't do it. I got a haircut the last time I did this review, so they find her son in the bathtub shaking. So the obvious assumption is that he probably saw something, but he's under traumatic stress, so there needs to be some time before he's able to talk. Malcolm's back this week. Harold Paramont's character. God, thank you so much, ABC, for promoting him. Thank you so much. Actually, I don't think it's a formal promotion yet. It's just he's a recurring. If you're doing 3 or more episodes out of the season, and from the promos for next week's episode, he's in that one. So I'm so excited. Thankfully, he was a really big help, and thankfully this episode kind of like they're stretching his muscles with the other characters, which was definitely the right call. I wanted to see him interact with the others, and that was a really good call for them. But anyway, so he apparently found out that there's been like some abuse issues at the house with the wife and her boyfriend. So obviously, another assumption is that they have arguments. So I guess the boyfriend probably killed him, but they probably need the witness testimony from this child to kind of give them the bullet they need. That kind of sounds like a horrible way to say it. To give them the proof they need to kind of put this guy away. But during the interrogation, it does not seem like it was the boyfriend, because he apparently left the room. Now again, of course, these are kids. They could be remembering things wrong, and it's also another fact that maybe he's lying. So, but however, the way he was speaking, and this was a really good child actor. He was a really good one. He was kind of narrowing down the obvious. Like, then wait, if this guy is not the guy, and there were no one else coming into the house, or there was no noise of someone else entering the house, there was only one thing. And the moment that was clear, everything changed. Everything snapped into place. And obviously, once I was like, hold on, let him get a lawyer, let him have some legal advice before he proceeds with this investigation. Meanwhile, Malcolm is like, no, wait, this could be it. We could have the solution. We can end this case right here and now. And this was the one thing I didn't like about Malcolm, because he kind of pushed towards getting this kid arrested. And obviously, no matter what, he still did commit the crime. But it was just the way he was so gun heavy, guns shooter level. He wanted fast. But anywho, so this is another way. This episode really tied in all the recurring characters and every character, so to speak, in one plot. They call in Wesley to kind of be the legal attorney for this kid. And during the second interrogation, the kid does admit that he did the murder. He got angry that the mom got rid of the boyfriend, because apparently the boyfriend was actually a pretty nice dude, but it was just the mom. I could relate to that somewhat. So he got really angry at his mom for pushing away this guy that he saw as a father, and he got mad and stabbed her multiple times, and which kind of seemed like a tame case, but it kind of reflects back to where Wesley, that was his name. Yeah, because there was Wesley, Iceman. Okay, Wesley. So there was a connection to Wesley because he got stabbed. The last episode we saw him, and he nearly died. So him hearing this testimony it gives him some flashbacks to that. And obviously, there's still more further issues down the line he'll have to deal with. But they take away the kid, and it doesn't really it's not a good. This season hasn't been kind to kids, really. Given what the kid that killed his mom, and now this. Is there a running trend with the rookie killing with their mom, kids killing their mom? I know that's not a funny thing to laugh at. It's just a coincidence, or maybe it is a coincidence. Who knows? So that kind of ends up that storyline. Not really in a good way. Just kind of just a reminder that anything is possible. Do not expect the whole usual. The boyfriend or the husband did it. Anything can happen. So back to Nolan's case. Nolan and Harper Harper's going back undercover to kind of figure out what's going on with this this former friend of hers that she had when she was undercover. We get to know a little bit more about Harper's underground days, not that much, but a little bits and pieces, and she volunteers to head in and find the guy who supposedly ordered the assault on her. And Nolan's obviously maybe you should have some some backup just in case, so he volunteers to go in with her, only in case if she really needs it. That kind of the first date doesn't really go anywhere, so when Nolan returns home, he finds the dude who showed up at his house before in his house, kind of acting creepy, stabbing his leg, and it's pretty clear that this guy, he's not in the right mind, he's not sane, and he's getting his whole story like, I was supporting my family, but they left me. I don't know why they left me. Where are they? But the more you figure it, like the more like this guy's probably was emotionally abusive, or he was probably dangerous, so they probably went into hiding, and he's trying to find them. Thankfully, no one took him out. It was again another pretty easy storyline. Another one that showcased that no one does need to be careful, has to have better judgment on certain people. Still an ever-evolving thing with a lot of people. But we get back to the undercover storyline. Harper does eventually manage to get in with the guys who ordered the assault. This is not really a good recap. I'm just trying to get my thoughts in place here for the end. But Harper was about to get taken away. Supposedly they wanted to like see if she's actually taken serious, but obviously the whole undercover sting was like she could not go mobile. Then there would be no chance of like her coming back. So Nolan steps in and kind of rescues her, and that's where thankfully it's another one of those things like, is it going to lead to somewhere down the line? Who knows? It'll probably be something they'll deal with the second half, because the way they kind of wrap up that encounter was like, I'll be seeing you soon. Anywho, that kind of wraps things up for that. What was it? Yeah, so the last notable thing is that Harper and her daughter was having a pretty good like night together for the first time. And it was pretty funny that, I'm not sure if you bought her furniture from IKEA, but she should invest in better furniture, or know how to read instructions better. That kind of where things end off. There's kind of like a couple like loose plot threads, obviously left hanging for future episodes to handle with Wesley and his PTSD, or if Wes is gonna and this actor gonna be an actual thing. Lucy's kind of just there. Oh, I feel sorry for Lucy. She didn't really get that much in this episode. And Nolan, and this was my one criticism with the episode. This was so far my only criticism for the whole season. Where is that when the nurse character was introduced in the second episode, I was very scared that, okay, was Nolan going to potentially cheat on Jessica with this doctor? I was kind of fearing that he would eventually Nolan's such a nice dude, but I even had doubts that he was going to do the whole main character shtick where, torn between two girls, he was going to kiss the doctor lady at some point and have some very complicated feelings going forward. But thankfully, didn't pursue that option. But the way they ended up, Jessica and him, it definitely felt like they were trying to push him and her. And again, I don't know if that was because like, was it a story reason? Was it because the guest star just didn't want to do it anymore? I don't know. I didn't read much into it, but I don't think that was the case. There's a variety of reasons. So going forward, it was like, okay, was it going to be like, because the way things ended in episode 7, where Nolan had the breakup. So I'm like, okay, episode 8 is going to have him deal with the breakup. But then between his birthday and then the Alan Tudyk bromance, it didn't really tackle that on. And then when we went on the 1 week breakup pod, okay, now we're going to see the ramifications of the breakup on him. Because again, I know that he broke up with Lucy, and we saw the ramifications immediately on that he was not comfortable with her exploring other people. And so far in the show, we haven't seen her be romantically interested in anyone, but it. No. 3, 2, 1. There wasn't any signs of that happening so far, but at least on that front, we didn't really get to see further that, and I'm pretty sure by this point his feelings for her has gone away, or maybe, who knows. So with Jessica, it's like this was his first real serious public relationship after his divorce. I know, again, I'm really demeaning Lucy, but that was mainly a fling. There was they had a romantic connection, but it didn't really like evolve anything. Obviously, they would have fought on it or something. I'm not really sure. Maybe they're saving it down the line. Who knows? So in terms for Nolan's case, like I honestly thought that he would at least have some sort of real emotional reaction to the breakup, and he didn't. Now, could he be hiding it? I don't know, but it's like the way he was willing to go in, and because I really felt like, again, I knew that Dr. Lady, after a certain point, wanted to be back with Nolan, especially after the last episode. She was very dead set on like, okay, he's free, he's single again, I want to date him. But the question was that going to happen? Was that going to be a thing? Or are they going to punt it off? I didn't really know. But especially after this week's episode, I'm like, yeah, they're probably going to push something like that. And it's not that I'm against it. It's just that it just showcased that it worked out for Nolan in a shady way. That's a weird thing for me to say, but let's think about it. Nolan at least was interested in her in some capacity, whether or not it was intentional or not, but he was interested. The way he was kind of like, now you could say it was like, oh, it was just an ex trying to make peace with his ex. You could say it like that. But for Nolan, it's like, he's a 40-something-year-old, doofus at times, so it could be that he didn't really know the difference. But then again, he was married for so many years, and I'm pretty sure he knew. But it also comes down to, was it that, or was it something else? And definitely the Jessica breakup. Like, obviously Nolan, in that breakup, it made sense that Nolan still wanted to explore this new life, not have another kid, because, like, having another kid while you're still beginning a new life, Nolan missed out on having a real life without a kid. Because, like, when he was in college, he had to leave everything and go and be a father, be a supportive father, and it took a lot of years out of him. So, was that always in the cards for him to go back to it right away? I would be in his side too if I was in that scenario. If this was something in my life that happened, I would definitely follow what he's doing. Like, no, I want to take some time to focus on myself and figure out what I need to do next for me. And it did push away her because she wanted to be a mother. Whether or not we will see her again, maybe with someone else down the line, is unclear. But we'll see if she ever comes back. But in terms of the nurse thing, I mean, you could say, like, maybe they make a cuter couple together. I don't know. That's what I'm not looking for. I'm not looking for that in terms of, like, where does the romantic connection go. It'll be interesting to see how they'll explain that, because literally by the end of the episode, like, are they on a date? Are they not on a date? It's that weird thing that even I don't know. But we'll see how that turns out next week for the winter finale, if they decide to tackle that on. I don't know. The winter finale actually looks intense, but, like, another thing I'll say about that's not a criticism to this episode, but a criticism for the way they're promoting the next episode, is that they're saying that someone is going to die by next week. It's like, are they really? Because, like, you kind of faked us out with Bradford, and thankfully Bradford didn't die. Obviously, I would have flipped out or something. You didn't kill Wesley, so that was fine. But the last time I remember a show emphasizing a death in the show was it's either Arrow season 4, Age of the Shield season 3. I don't know which one came first. I really don't know. I don't have time to think about it. Those were the shows I can immediately top of my head, and those were both weird and mixed and divided in my opinion. So whether or not they do it well here is unclear. And who are they going to kill off? I don't know. I personally don't think it's any one of the main casts. It's just far too early with the whole Bishop actress is leaving, and then, having to replace her not last minute. I'm pretty sure, like, it wasn't in the plans to replace her that soon. So I don't really know on that front. Will it be one of the side characters? I don't know. I swear to God, if they kill off Malcolm, I'm going to be so mad, because, like, Malcolm just seems like the perfect candidate to have a spinoff with the, I said this last episode, with Alan Tudyk. Maybe even add Wesley in there, like, kind of have like we got the lawyer and the investigator and the crime scene cleanup guy. That just seems like an awesome spinoff right there. But we'll see what happens next week. And just to let you guys know, if you haven't seen the last What's on the Tube with... also, before I continue further, 2 thumbs up for this episode. Another great episode in my front. Bit iffy on the ending, but we'll see how things progress on that. In terms of what's coming up with the What's on the Tube schedule, because we finished the 1 week break. So Rookie and Nancy Drew are back. But next week, both of them are going to go on their mid-season finales. High School Musical is running uninterrupted, but that's separate. It's just so if you're really focusing on the Rookie. So what my plan is going to be is that so when this episode goes live, next week will be the winter finale, and then I don't know if I'm going to do anything in between then and Christmas. I don't really know what's going to happen, because I had promised to do one on on How I Met Your Mother during the break, but I didn't get to do that. So I don't want to promise anything that I'm not going to keep. I will do How I Met Your Mother someday. I don't know when, but the plan is during the hiatus, because like again, we're going to have the month-long hiatus, so there will be weeks where we don't have an episode on this time slot. I am not sure if I'm going to slot that in with something else. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still getting my thoughts together on how that would be done. But until we get to that moment, I can't guarantee anything. I don't even know when the rookie's coming back, because literally they literally announced the release date for the return date literally in the promos. Because the thing is with TV listings is that they only go so far. So unless there's a press release or a mid-season scheduling change with that specific show, I'm in the dark until literally the promo. So you'll find out next week what is going to be the plan going forward with the Monday time slot on What's on the Tube. If you're very much interested in continuing What's on the Tube when we're not doing the rookie, and I'm also doing Nancy Drew and High School Musical, the series. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on those shows, but if you're just like, no, he's a chill guy, I want to see what else he's talking about. I will be thinking about that throughout the next week, but you'll have to stay tuned for next week and see what I'm planning for that. But no matter what, I will continue when the rookie returns. So whenever that is, could it be in January? Could be in February? Could it be in March? Who knows? But anywho, that's going to wrap it up for me this week. I'm literally exhausted, guys. I'm sorry. So if I felt really off during this review, I apologize. It's been a very crazy day for me when I'm recording this, and I will probably talk about it at some point in one of the other shows if you're interested in hearing that. But until then, that's going to end my personal plug-in for this episode. But if you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube on ActionX. If you want to hear or see more of What's on the Tube, specifically just for the rookie, you can subscribe, ring the bell, ring-a-ding-a-ding, to know when the next episode live. Usually it's every Monday until whenever something happens for the rookie. If you want to like, share, favorite the video, go ahead. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, What's on the Tube is technically still one of my new shows, so leave a constructive comment if you want, letting me know how things are going to be better. I do plan on implementing some minor aesthetic changes going into 2020, but we'll see how that turns out. This could just end up me being on my couch that is very low for some reason, because I can tell that I'm a little bit lower than usual. Maybe it's the way I set up my camera. I set up my camera very fast. It's late in the night. I want to go to bed. But that's going to do it for me. So I'll see you guys next week for the winter finale. Ironically, it's a semi-storm happening here right now where I live. So peace out.